Hello YouTube! This is Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another daily Blizzard upload. This is game 4 of a best of 5 series from the round of 16 IEM Championship held in Katowice back in, let's see, last week and a couple weeks ago. In 2015, this is Zest versus Hydra on Secret Spring. Now, if we go ahead and pull up the production tab, if you remember from games 1 through 3, an early lead was taken by Hydra. He won games 1 and 2 fairly convincingly, but game 3 there was some good Blinkstalker play from Zest. He caught a bunch of infestors out in the open, was able to take those down, rather swarm hosts. There were not a bunch of infestors out. Swarm hosts were taken down by that Blinkstalker, and some really good attacks onto the 4th base of Hydra forced him to abandon those. The economy took a huge hit, and in the end Zest just steamrolled his opponent, bringing this series back to 2-1. So here we are with Zest and Hydra on this particular map, which I'm not sure I've cast before, but we will pay attention to the important features as we move along. Clearly, there is a natural expansion here up on the high ground. Yes, it is. You take a ramp from your main base, put your expansion right up here on the high ground. It is fairly safe from attack. Again, Protoss will likely wall off this front door, take their nexus here, not have to worry about any Zergling or Roach attacks on it for a while. There is some nice water here in the middle. That's some excellent, very pretty reflections. We have a lily pad there. We have some cattails, or some pussy willows, I guess they're also called. Either way. Meanwhile, a buddy of mine tells me about a game he played. Yep, it looks like he played against a Smurf, and he's interested in seeing, maybe I'll cast the replay a little bit later on. So, meanwhile, Hydra is making units. He has his expansion going down. Zest is also just making a gateway here at the front door with a pylon, and a scouting overlord is heading right up into the base. I think we'll speed up a little bit. Looks like we're just settling in for a quick macro game. Probe checks for the presence of the second base, knows there's no early aggression coming, so he throws down his nexus, not having to worry about an early Baneling a Bust or anything strange like that. So Overlord comes on in. We're gonna follow him for a bit. He checks and sees both gas being taken by the Protoss player, so that tells him there is some tech on the way. Probably not a very quick 2-base all-in. Could be an Immortal Sentry play, although it depends on how much gas is being taken at the second base. You want to pay attention to that kind of stuff. So he just sits right over here feeling very comfortable. Overlords are not usually this happy to stay inside the enemy base because Marines come along, Stalkers come along, Queens come along, shoot them in the head, and make them explode. But he was comfortable enough to stay there for a bit, and now he's going to head on off to the more usual area for Overlords, back in this area where no one can attack them unless they can fly. So doing a quick little poke in, just trying to see what he can see. Again, feeling comfortable. Is there... And now the Stalker comes out to defend against this guy. He wants to take care of this Overlord as soon as humanly possible. I think he can reach him from there. He can. The Overlord is in a desperate chase for his life, trying to escape the Stalker, and he does with about half hit points. So well done. Stalker going, or Sentry going down for Zest. He's getting workers at his second base. A couple Zerglings popping on up trying to scout, but this Mothership Core will chase them back to where they came from. Mothership Cores do not do very much damage, but it's enough to chase off Zerglings, that's for sure. Zerglings scouting around looking for proxy pylons, for additional tech, proxy, gateways, just in case, because he doesn't know exactly what to expect from Zest other than what he saw earlier with the Overlord Scout. So Cybernetics Core researching Warp Gate technology. It's just about done at the 6-minute mark here. So we might see some Warp Gate play here, some shenanigans. 2 more gateways going down for Zest. Hydra is, in response, getting an Evolution Chamber, upgrading to a lair, really just doing his macro thing, hoping to have enough workers to support a large enough army for when the push actually comes from Zest. Another pylon going down. Small force of a Stalker, a Zealot, and a Sentry here. Sentry's going to stay home and block off against any Zergling counterattacks, but this army is coming right up the middle. These rocks being attacked, a rock tower, so it looks like maybe Hydra wanted to knock these rocks down to prevent the attack path, but he wasn't able to do so. These Stalkers are sitting pretty much at the front door of Hydra. They are far away from home. These Speedlings are not interested in fighting that. They're going to head back and see if they can do any counterattacking here at the front door of Zest. But more sentries are warped in just in time. We have a quick... Oh no, not even a response. No force field goes down. Well played from Zest. Not wasting that energy on a force field that might be unnecessary. Does hallucinate an Oracle there. The Oracle's going to do some scouting down by the Zerg base. The Zerglings are trying to find this army that was heading down here somewhere. They don't see them though. They're looking everywhere for this army, but they're hiding at the very, very, very bottom of the map and hoping the Zerglings don't come upon them, because they will die quickly if that happens. The Oracle doing some good scouting, checking out the Roach Warren, seeing the Hydralisk Den. That's a big pickup from Zest. He knows there are Hydras, which means that he wants to get Colossus as soon as possible. We do have a robotics facility going down, and +1 attack that will be really useful for the Colossus later on. The Zerglings are interested in trying to take down this rock tower as long as there's nothing else they can do. This small attack force, again, will be overwhelmed very quickly by the Zerglings as long as Hydra knows what's going on. But he's not aware of these guys. The Protoss army moves on to the creep, a very brave maneuver. And here come the Zerglings getting the surround, and I think we're going to see a recall. Yes, we do a quick recall from the Mothership Core before any of the Stalkers die, and they pop up here just safe and sound at the home base. So, quick warp prism being warped in by the Protoss player. So that's going to be interesting to see. Also Blink and the missile attacks level 1 going down for Zerg, and melee attack level 1 going down for Zest. A hallucinated Phoenix comes in doing more scouting, trying to catch those tech structures. We have Burrowing Claws going down for the Roaches, which is interesting, as well as +1. Carapace checks out the presence of these Swarm Hosts. So it's an interesting Swarm Host going down, Spire going down, Hydralisk Den going down. In these 10 minutes, Hydra has made use of many of the tech upgrades available to Zerg. Maybe it's something to throw off the Protoss player so that he doesn't know what to expect. If he sees a Spire, an Infestation Pit, we have an upgraded lair, we have a Hydralisk Den, a Roach Warren. All of these things may confuse Zest and not sure what's going on. The Rock Tower does block off the attack path, slowing down Protoss enough to where this scouting Zergling recognizes what's going on, but the Locusts are here. They don't have the Enduring Locust upgrade yet, but I assume that's on the way. Not yet, though, but it is something that's interesting. The rocks do not go down. Zest decides, I don't want to let those Swarm Host Locusts come on through. That's pretty scary, so they're not going to let these rocks disappear just quite yet. More interested in getting a third base up with a very nicely well-protected photon cannon. Zerglings swooping up around the right side, gonna try to maybe catch this army. No, just checking for the presence of the third base. And here they come, they do see it. They recognize they can't take it down before this cannon kills all of them. So gonna snipe down a couple workers do go down. Zealots are here just to chase them away. The Zealots with the +1 upgrade are able to one-shot Zerglings that don't have any armor upgrades. So they are very scary to the Zerglings. Even just 2 or 3 of them is enough to take out that whole group, depending on the angles involved. The Locusts are just coming up, spawning and dying, so they're not interested in taking down these rocks either. Both players just kind of settling in for a longer macro game. Oh, this is Dark Templar warping here at the 4th base for Hydra. And it is going down. It is below 50% health. The responding Roaches are going to try to take it out before it dies down to 200, 100 health. And it is saved at 86 health with the Mutalisks chasing away that Warp Prism, trying to make sure that it can't warp in any more Dark Templars to try to take out his bases. So we do have a pretty good Mutaflot coming up from the Zerg player. I guess if you're left alone long enough, here at the 13-minute mark, you can do pretty well for yourself. If we look at the supply, it is 156 to 137 for the Zerg player, so he is ahead. Income tab shows a 73 to 68 advantage for Hydra, which is pretty good as well. 3-base Protoss, though, can be fairly intimidating. You can see some pretty good tech switches. The Colossus are popping out right now for the Protoss player, as well as the extended thermal lance upgrade, which is fantastic against Hydralisks and Roaches. More upgrades coming down for the attack from ground units, as well as another Colossus being warped in. So this is going to be a pretty intimidating Colossus ball. The rocks are down to 98 health, one single Zergling bashing on them, and they get wiped out by the Colossus. It's a bit of overkill, but it gets the job done. And we see the Mutalisk flock popping around the right side. They do get chased away by these Blinkstalkers, though. Blinkstalkers are a good deterrent to Mutalisks. They can easily range around the base, be where they need to be, and they hit pretty hard as well. So a good Protoss player will keep a small group of Blinkstalkers in the base to chase away that harassment, and usually it's enough, depending on how big that flock can get for the Zerg player. Meanwhile, we are slowly pushing up with a small group of Swarm Hosts. We're not overcommitting to the Swarm Hosts, supporting with Zerglings. This Overseer is popping around, trying to see what he can see. And we're just pushing in with these Locusts right up into the main area here of where Protoss has all of his stuff. This huge Mutaflock is taking down the Blinkstalkers, but decides no, it's not enough. It's not worth it. The +1 Stalkers, the +2 Mutalisks are not enough to take down the +2 Stalkers. Small Zergling counterattack coming up along at the 4th base, but there is the group of Colossus ready for it. And they are able to take down not even a single Zealot there at that final gasp. The Photon Cannon doesn't die. A couple workers die, but not a whole lot. And these roaches back off. Mutalisks flying in here, trying to focus down Stalkers as well as they can. They take down 2, 3, 4 die, but reinforcements come in, chasing them back. A Pylon was sniped, meaning the Cybernetics Core and this Warp Gate are unpowered. That's a pretty good pickup. Are we just sacrificing Mutas at this point? I don't know what Hydra is intending to do, but he eventually flies away to regenerate his health for another day. More Zerglings coming in. Only one can attack this Photon Cannon at a time. It is just very, very well placed by Zest. Even a Dark Templar coming in to help with that. Mutalisk flock trying to snipe down the Cyber Core. That'd be a big pickup, and it is. It prevents any future tech buildings from being built by the Protoss till he replaces that. Zerglings coming in are just getting melted by these Colossus. This Mutalisk flock picking off Stalkers one by one, trying to take down Pylons and starve out these Warp Gates and Twilight Councils. But in the end, the Mutas are chased off. But all the bases are healthy for the Zerg player. It looks like there was an attack here that I missed, as the Spinecrawler is only down to 74 health and has 1 kill. This base is the 5th base for the Hydra, which can be very scary for the Protoss player to see that many bases for a Zerg. We'll have to see what Hydra decides to do with all of his money and his tech. Although we do have a 4th base going down for Zest. The Photon Cannon does get sniped out. We're going to try to take down the Nexus before the army can respond, with a attack move pattern going down from these Mutalisks, and it does get taken down. Zest is not interested in defending this out in the open. A Mutalisk, or a counterattack from Zerglings come in, but so many Zealots warp in, doing enough damage with the +3 to the Zerglings to chase away a lot of them. But these Zerglings with +2 armor and no attack are trying to focus down this Photon Cannon, but responding Phoenix lift them up, take out a few of the Zerglings. Not an effective use of energy for those Phoenix, but it gets the job done. This Zergling gets a probe kill and then is taken out by this Dark Templar with +3 upgrades. The Mutalisk flock is big, but enough Phoenix can really negate this many Mutalisks, depending on the angles involved and exactly what you're trying to do. This Dark Templar has 8 kills. It's going to almost take down the Queen, but the responding Mutalisks take him down before he can. The Queen is just trying to get this 5th base up, trying to make workers here, spawning Swarm Hosts, and we are pretty much splitting the map in half at this point. The creep spread is pretty good for Hydra. Up along this left side, it's good. Up along the middle, it is excellent. You can almost see the Protoss base from the creep spread, which is fantastic. A Dark Templar moving down, probably going to lock down this hatchery again, but we do have a Spore Crawler, and we do have 2 a Spine Crawler and another Spore being made. So the question is, will this Spine be built before the Dark Templar comes to call? And the answer, I think, is no. How many kills will this Dark Templar get before it is taken down? It wipes out the Queen, takes out a worker, 4 kills, 5 kills, 6. And the responding Mutalisks coming in, trying to take it down before it gets rid of the Spore Crawler, and they do. Spore Crawler only had 1 more swing from that attack from the Dark Templar, and I would have been dead. But it survives, and the Dark Templar is taken down after racking in double-digit kills and effective use. Phoenix group pushing in here, being responded to by these Mutalisks, by some Corruptors, which are a good choice against the Phoenix, because they have good range and good armor. They are a good match to defend against those Phoenix attacks. Mutalisks are not so much. They are a little bit slower. They are a little bit lighter in armor type. We have a lot of Spore Crawlers going down here to defend these Swarm Hosts. A good choice, considering the last time a group of Swarm Hosts got taken down by Hydra, there was no defense whatsoever. Mutalisk flock popping in, does not want to attack these guys right up at front. They're just trying to snipe around. Phoenix also trying to do the same thing. These spore crawlers cannot be brought up. Zest recognizes that, takes down every single spore crawler, is trying to take out these locusts and will force field them off before they can do too much damage. 2 swarm hosts are picked up, but the responding corruptors are able to take out a couple of the Phoenix in the meantime. It's a strong push up the middle from this army of Zest. He has 187 supply. We have another attack here, I'm guessing from Dark Templar, that was cleaned up by the Mutalisks. Once again, these Dark Templar attacks are doing some very big damage to Hydra's economy, so they are a small investment, but if they're able to get in there and do some damage, it can have some long-term benefit for the Protoss player. In response, we have some spine crawlers going down. He needs to defend against these Dark Templar attack. It's very annoying, but it needs to be done. Mutalisk flock swinging up along the right side, trying to see what they can see. The responding Phoenix are just too fast, though. Doing a good job staying out of range of the Mutalisks and killing them. The Corruptors are trying to take them down. Stalkers trying to take out the Corruptors. It is just a giant mix of counter versus counter versus counter here. Blink Stalkers blinking down, chasing everybody away. Trying to snipe off that final Corruptor. They do. The Phoenix take out another Corruptor, and a second Corruptor dies. This is really not good news for Hydra. He's getting chased back to his base. All the Corruptors die. All that's left is this group of Mutalisks, which cannot take down these Phoenix, especially not with Stalker support. They're flying away, getting picked off piece by piece. They are able to turn and defend and take out a Phoenix at a time, but it's not enough. These Blink Stalkers with +3 attack are just taking down the Spine Crawlers. More are responding. And here come the Colossus as well, trying to wipe out these Swarm Hosts before they can generate too many Locusts. I think this may be it for Hydra. It is a good concave from the Protoss player. Colossus have 39 kills, 33 kills. The Corruptors are trying to snipe them from behind, but they're not able to do so before the Stalkers take them out. And Hydra calls the GG as the Protoss forces are directly at his front door, and there's not much he can do against it. It was a fantastic game by Zest. The Dark Templar counterattacks did everything they needed to do. Hydra was not able to get the pressure he wanted with the Swarm Hosts up the middle lane there. And in the end, it was just a good counter with the Phoenix and the Stalkers coming along the right side, chasing down the Mutalisk army that allowed him to win the game with support of the Colossus that met up with them at the exact right point. So good multitasking from from Zest. Maybe not the best attacks from Hydra, but he does have another game to prove his worth. So we are up to a 2-2 count in this series. The final and 5th deciding game will be cast by me on this channel. Subscribe to make sure you catch it, and all the great Blizzard action, especially Starcraft 2. You can visit me on Twitter at twitter.com/FalconPaladin. Hit like on this video, subscribe like I said, and until next time, you take care of yourself.